Let's take a moment and talk a little bit about Black Panther and how good of a fighter he is. There's a constant discussion and debate on this app in regards to Black Panther and his skill as a fighter. Is he a master of all forms of martial arts? How many styles does he actually know? And where does he rank in terms of the best fighters in Marvel? And there's really two reasons for this. First and foremost is Marvel really doesn't say outright exactly how much Black Panther knows as a fighter. They rather show you in his encounters with other martial artists. So the lack of statements or stories leaves a gray area. And then there's, of course, the ranking system on the guidebooks and Marvel.com that rank him at a 5 and being a master of only one form of martial arts and adept at others, which doesn't always fit the narrative of the comics. And while I understand and respect the reasons many of my mutuals use the guidebooks to fill in the gaps for Black Panther, I am not going to for this video. For this video, I'm looking at just what's inside the comics and the facts and evidence that are given to us to help me determine exactly how skilled of a fighter Black Panther is and give my opinion on the topic. Notice what I just said, my opinion. While I will be presenting facts from the comic books as well as the narrative from the comic books, I am going to be making assumptions based off those facts and narratives in order to gauge exactly how knowledgeable and skilled of a fighter Black Panther is. Because at the end of the day, there is that gray area. So let's just get down to it and let's talk about the things that we know are fact about Black Panther in terms of his fighting skill. Let's start things off at the beginning. Fantastic Four, issue number 52. While fighting against the Thing, Black Panther says, among other things, I have long been the boxing champion of this entire continent. While this doesn't say outright that he's a master at boxing, if someone is a champion of boxing for an entire continent the size of Africa, you would have to be a master boxer in order to be that. Let's jump to Avengers vs. X-Men, issue number 5, in which we get probably one of the best statements for Black Panther in terms of his skill. Here it states, my wife controls the weather itself, while I am just a man who has studied every fighting style in the world. This is actually a really good statement for Black Panther. While it does not state that he's a master of all forms of martial arts or a master at all forms of combat, it does state that he has studied all forms, which means he's at least adept to expert in those styles. And then if we move to the Ultimates, issue number 2, we know from this issue that Black Panther has created his own form of martial arts called Shadow Combat. It is a blend of multiple styles, and it is a style in which he has mastered. So those are the things that are verbatim fact about Black Panther. If we go by those, at the low end, we can at least say that he is a master of 2 forms of fighting, as well as being knowledgeable in all forms of fighting. But now let's go to the gray area. I'm going to use examples from the comics as well as the overall narrative to make a personal assumption on how much Black Panther knows on top of what's verbatim fact. Let's just get down to it. So we're going to look at Black Panther issue number 2, issue number 4, and issue number 5. In these issues, we find out that there are assassins that are using various forms of martial arts while fighting. We then find out that these assassins, in utilizing those fighting styles, as well as their combat movements and patterns, are based off Wakandan fighting styles. Now, we know by statements and the narrative that T'Challa is the best fighter in Wakanda, above the Dojo Milaje, above all his other warriors and subjects. Anything that they have known or mastered is something that he's better at than them. So with that being said, we can assume that these 6 fighting styles, which are taught in Wakanda to his subjects, are 6 fighting styles that he most likely has mastered. Here's another gray area that a lot of people bring up. Let's look at Fantastic Four 608, in which in this issue, in being King of the Dead, Black Panther has access to his ancestors, every Panther that ever lived. Their strength, their knowledge is now yours. Every battle fought, every battle won, unbeaten, unbroken, a crown of the unconquered, a king of Kings. While this is a really cool ability and great for the narrative and character of Black Panther, there are two gray areas for utilizing this in terms of his knowledge and skill. First gray area is, of course, we don't know how much knowledge or skill any of the previous Black Panthers have. There's no way of quantifying it. So we don't know how much knowledge or skill that they're giving to T'Challa. Second is, as we see an example like Black Panther issue number 14, it is displayed that when he accesses his ancestors, it is more like a discussion between them and them passing on their knowledge that way, rather than it automatically being given to him or, for lack of a better term, downloaded into his head. So for me personally, I don't feel comfortable using this to gauge Black Panther's skill level because there's so much gray area with this ability that, as far as my research and reading has gone, isn't utilized all that much. And of course, we have the Ultimate Suit, in which Black Panther goes up against the White Tiger God and conquers it in order to gain its power. While a really cool character and narrative feat, this still doesn't answer the questions I'm asking in terms of how much knowledge or skill Black Panther has. Which really brings to the way that Marvel likes to gauge their hand-to-hand fighters or how skilled their fighters are, and that's based off of encounters with other martial artists or expert fighters. Let me show you. We know from Black Panther vs. Deadpool issue 2, Black Panther keeps a hologram activated in which he can fight against his allies, the Avengers, testing his skill against them. Black Panther and Captain America have had several back and forth with each others. Take, for example, Tales of Suspense, in which Captain America and Black Panther go relative to each other and stalemate each other. Or Contest of Champions 2, issue number 4, in which, once again, they go relative to each other. However, in this instance, Captain America was able to get the win. Or if we look at their fights in Civil War, in which Black Panther is able to easily defeat an injured Captain America. We see in Fantastic Four, Annual number 5, that while fighting Karnak of the Inhumans, a skilled martial artist who is able to pinpoint your weak point, Black Panther no-diffs him. And this is like a run-on thing. If we look at Black Panther issue number 20, Black Panther rolls up on Karnak and one-shots this man. And Black Panther, the Man Without Fear, issue number 517, Black Panther is successfully able to go up against Liu Kang, utilizing pressure points, vulnerable areas, as well as nerve strikes to take the big man down. We've even seen his encounters with Wolverine, like Contest of Champions, issue number 3, in which in their first encounter, Black Panther and Wolverine are equal to each other. We don't see how the fight would have ended because Thing gets involved. Or Wolverine, issue number 8, in which Black Panther, goading Wolverine for a specific narrative reason, has the two of them going relative to each other, both of them trading blows, and the fight ending in a stalemate. We have, of course, Black Panther issue number 8, in which Black Panther speed blitzes Wolverine and throws him into the X-Men. You can argue this is more of a speed feat because it wasn't really a fight, but still impressive nonetheless. Black Panther issue number 39 versus Iron. This is a long-ass fight. I mean, really long. But we see in this fight, the two of them going all out. There's, of course, context. But at the end of the day, Black Panther is able to hold his own while trying to help Danny, and that is, in fact, pretty damn impressive, regardless of the result. And of course, we have Marvel Knights issue 5, in which Black Panther, depowered, is able to hold his own against Punisher, Elektra, and Daredevil. There is context to this fight, seeing that it looks like at least Daredevil is holding back. Maybe Punisher? But it doesn't matter. He still holds his own against all three. So why am I showing all these fights? Because here's my ultimate point when it comes down to Black Panther. I could say, based off what I showed, that he's a master of maybe 12 forms of martial arts definitively and knowledgeable in all forms of martial arts, and it really wouldn't much matter. Narratively, the character of Black Panther is a masterful fighter. He takes in what he knows and makes his own style out of it. It is his encounters with other masterful fighters that makes him such a good fighter. Skill is very important. Knowledge is very important. But your ability to apply that, your battle IQ, that is also equally important. So based off what I showed, and based off of his encounters with other heroes, this is my own personal ranking for the top 5 fighters in Marvel. Excluding Taskmaster for certain reasons, I have Shang-Chi at number 1, Iron Fist at number 2, and I have a rotation between Black Panther, Captain America, and Wolverine. I feel as though Black Panther and Captain America are more equal to each other. And while Wolverine may be more knowledgeable, he doesn't use his martial arts quite as much, so he's probably placed a little lower. But that ranking is just my opinion. And I want to know from all the Black Panther fans and experts, do you agree with this video? Is there something I missed? Please let me know, and have a great day.